everybody, and welcome to the Positively Disney Phone-In Show. I'm Kimberly Bouchard, the host of the show, obviously, and the author of the Positively Disney books that are heartwarming stories about Disney's impact on people's lives. People like you, people like me, guests, cast members, Disney artists all over the world. And I'll tell you guys, I am so excited about the fourth one that's coming out in time for Christmas. I will not make the announcement that is up and ready until it is up and ready, but it's very, very close to getting that way, and so excited. It's bigger than ever. I can't even believe it. I have a hard time saying no to good story. Just want to welcome my Facebook people out there and my Twitch TV people. Hi to Stephen and hi to my hubby who has joined me this evening, and the rest of you out there. I hope you are having a wonderful start of your week. And since I spoke with you guys last week, I just can't get over some things that happened to me. And I don't know if you guys have ever had one of those weeks where it's kind of like you have to shake your head at the end of it and just kind of question yourself, what just happened? Before I go on, big hello to Robert. Welcome to Robert Bearden to the show. So I want to share with you a little bit, and we do have a guest lined up for this evening, and then we'll chat a little bit after our guest. But I actually my week kind of went started with an email and then a phone call from a California number. I answered it, and I'm not too sure if you guys know who this is, but Jack Canfield, the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, called me up. And it was quite an amazing little chat we had, because he had my books and he had been going through them and really loved the stories. And he actually gave me a quote for my book. So I was really, really thrilled because, Jack, they sold 30 million copies of their Chicken Soup for the Soul books. And he really said that my books were like the Disney lovers Chicken Soup for the Soul. So I was really happy, and I'm just really excited because of that was kind of the start of my week. And I just want to share with you what he said. He said that they are an inspiring collection of heartfelt stories that will warm your heart and nurture your soul. So I just thank Jack very much for taking the time to take a peek at my books and give me a quote that will be on the book. Big welcome to Paige, who has joined me this evening. So I did tell you that there was a few different people that I ended up speaking to this week, and still shaking my head. There's one fellow that I spoke with actually on 3 different occasions, and I won't tell you his name right now. You will find out in a later date, and there's a reason why I'm not going to tell you. But he was actually friends with Lillian, friends with Julie Andrews, been to her house for dinner, and had known and met Dick Van Dyke and Elton John, and just a whole lot. Ray Bradbury, Roy Disney Jr., and a lot of different people. And it was so amazing to actually talk to somebody that had such a not only a passion for Disney, but actually was so fortunate to meet so many Disney folks. And another person that I had a really lovely time meeting and chatting with is actually our guest. And I didn't realize that we kind of had been in the same circles here in Washington State. And he's a lovely fellow. And what was even kind of more fun to find out is that when I was trying to reach him, he was actually on his 5th Disney cruise. So we had a nice chat about that, because I love the Disney cruises and I could sure use one about now. But anyways, he actually is from Canada. Him and his wife are from Canada, moved here 5 years ago. So I kind of felt an instant kinship to him, kind of like he was family. And so I just really felt very I don't even actually know the words, just very honored, very privileged to be able to speak to these people, and that they actually wanted to speak to me. I just feel really grateful, and kind of shake my head, because I just feel like, I'm this mom and wife, and from Canada, and moved here, and as the country is so big, so are the opportunities. And I thank you guys, everybody that has not only spoken with me, come on my show, watch my show, and be a part of my books. I'm so grateful. And the more I get to know, you guys out there and make the Disney connections. It just really warms my heart. And I'm going to share one more little teeny thing with you before we go on to our guest here tonight. And before I go on, I just want to welcome my friend Donna on the show. Hi, Donna. Thank you for joining me tonight. So it's really been strange in writing my books, because often when I'm writing a story or tweaking a story, it will be like the anniversary of something very significant in the story. And one of the stories that I'd been finishing up and tweaking that's in the book called Of Magic and Miracles. I can share that with you. And it's about the fellow, you probably saw a little bit about this almost, well, not quite a year ago, but close to a year ago. And he actually had his life saved because of a Disney experience. And I don't want to wreck it. But what was so cool about it is the person that saved his life was en route to meet with him in New York City at the exact time that I was finishing the story. And I just thought it was so cool. And I was so excited for those guys to meet up in really like happier times in terms. At any rate, I want to go on to my guest tonight, who is actually somewhat of a neighbor. And his name is Rob Taylor. And some of you, I'm not sure if you know, but the 501st is an amazing organization that I will have Rob share with you. And I found out about it when I did a story in the third book in the romance edition, when the 501st made an appearance at a wedding in Disney World. So we're just getting Rob on the phone, and he's going to tell us all about this amazing organization that I wanted you guys to know and learn about, and maybe even have a part of your events. Hello, Rob.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, yay. You were the easiest one to connect with in most of my phone calls to people. How are you doing tonight?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm good. I was just telling the folks that, that you are going to tell us all about the 501st. And I've got a few questions that I'll just ask you. And welcome. Thank you for coming on the show tonight. And Rob, I just wanted to start with, can you tell everybody, what is the 501st?
The 501st Legion is what's termed as a premier Star Wars costuming organization.
Okay.
We're officially recognized by Lucasfilm.
Oh.
And we help raise awareness and funds for local community organizations and local charities around the world.
Wow. And so now you say premier costume. So what does that mean exactly?
Basically what it is our members build and wear movie quality Star Wars costumes.
Wow. That's kind of an undertaking. What if you're not too arts and crafty savvy? Just wondering.
Well, then make some friends with people who are.
Okay. Okay, that would be my first question. That'd be a little daunting for me to think about that. Something that you said is it I guess you deal with local charities and global charities. Is that correct?
We do.
Okay.
501st Legion command structure, like the overall 501st Legion, will tend to deal with the more global arms of the charities.
Okay.
The local organizations will tend to deal with the local arms of the different charities.
Okay. Now, can you tell us about what are some of the charities that you guys support? And then I've got another question right after that.
Well, actually, so to be honest, the charities and organizations that we help support are as many and varied as the members that we have. Some of the big ones we tend to get involved with are things like the Children's Wish, and we tend to, a lot of our members tend to gravitate more towards the children's style organizations.
Okay.
So, the worldwide ones tend to be big ones like that. In the local areas, a lot of our garrisons will tend to get involved with the local children's hospitals.
Okay.
So here in Seattle, one of our biggest donations every year is made to the Seattle Children's Hospital.
Okay, now how does it all work? Because I know that you guys dress up. Do you get to choose which Star Wars person you want to be? And how does this work? Like, how does the whole
Yep.
thing work?
So each individual member decides which costume, or more likely costumes, that they want to either make or buy or put together.
Okay.
And then each individual event is, we tend to call them troops. We're trooping an event.
Okay.
You will sign up for that. And under most circumstances, you can have just whoever you want coming out to it as far as characters are concerned. But we do have a general rule that if it's what's called a face character, there can only be one of each face character at a particular troop at a particular time. And that's to keep the magic for the
Right.
kids.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah. And,
So you got to,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you have a second question?
Well, yeah, so do people just call you up and you guys, like, I don't know how many are in your troop, if you call it a troop. And
in Seattle, the garrison in Seattle has I believe 204 members.
Holy cow. That's a lot.
Legion, the 501st Legion as a whole has a little over 14,000 members.
That's huge. That's amazing. And so if they're like, how often do you go out to events? Or can you go out to events?
Last year, this particular garrison, which is Garrison Titan,
okay,
I believe we had just over 240 events.
Wow. And people just, I guess you must get alerted to certain events coming up, and then you sign up that way. Is that kind of how that works, or?
The members will get alerted. I'm actually what's known as an event coordinator, and we're one of the people that actually puts the events together. The way that tends to happen is the organizations or the people that are holding the events will actually go to 501st.com.
Okay.
That's our overall Legion organization, and they will submit a request for an appearance there. Those requests for appearance will then come down to the individual garrisons. Then the event coordinators will then start the full coordination process, including asking for members to sign up.
Okay. How much time do people need to give you if they wanted to invite you to an event?
I don't believe we have a specific minimum, but this is a 100% charity, volunteer-run organization.
Right.
And people do have to sign up to go to that event. So the longer the lead time that you give us, the more likely people are to be able to plan the time available to come to your event. Okay.
Can you give me an idea about the kinds of events that you guys do? Because when I learned about the 501st, it was an appearance at a wedding. And so I'm curious to know, I mean, I'm sure it runs a gamut, but I'm just kind of curious to know about what kind of events that they do.
Well, you're absolutely right. It does completely run the gamut.
Okay.
The ones that we tend to like doing the most are what are known as conventions, where there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people that are coming for a block of entertainment, and we are one of those really groups of entertainment in that convention. That tends to be our biggest. We do corporate events. There are some garrisons that will actually do birthday parties if you are making a donation to a charity. That's probably how you saw the wedding, is somebody would have asked for us and then would have promised to make a donation to a charity so that we would come out and attend.
Right. Yeah. And I remember she did talk about the Juvenile Diabetes Association, because her son had diabetes. And so that was one of the charities in their area, anyways, that they supported, which was really, really nice. I mean, I just think it's such a win situation, really, for everybody. I was just curious to know, how did you get involved, Rob?
Oh, that's a bit of a long story.
Okay.
I've been a Star Wars fan since 1977.
Okay.
And I started becoming a bit of a costuming fan and really more of a prop building and a set building fan. Probably 50, 20 plus years, 25 years ago.
Wow.
I actually started doing Star Trek costuming and
Okay.
building full size Star Trek sets.
Okay.
But when the Clone Wars came out, I was living in Canada at the time, and there was in Canada a cereal. I think it was a Post cereal called Clone Trooper cereal or something like
Oh.
that, and it actually came with a clone helmet inside of it, if a child-sized clone helmet.
Oh.
And I took that helmet and I built it into a real screen accurate clone helmet.
Wow.
And as soon as I had that, then I wanted the rest of the costume. And at that point, I started doing some research. I found out about the 501st.
Ah.
There were about a dozen people in my area, and the rest is history.
Oh, for crying out loud. So you've been doing this for years, actually.
Well, I learned of the 501st in 1998 or 99. I think 99.
Okay.
Shortly after they had first become an actual entity.
Right.
But they weren't really all that organized back then. I didn't actually join until 2006.
Okay.
And that's when I got my first costume, which was actually the first costume I finally got fully together was actually a Darth Maul costume.
Okay.
And that's what I joined with in 2006. And fun fact, I'm actually now one of only 12 people in the world who Lucasfilm allows to make money making appearances as Darth Maul.
Oh, for crying out loud. That's so cool.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty fun.
you were talking about at the beginning that there are actually people that have more than one costume that they can wear. I can't even imagine that. But how many
Most of us.
most of you do? Okay.
Yes,
So you have to be that persona in that particular costume then.
that's correct.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. So
Yep.
how many costumes do you have, Robert?
Completed costumes, I have 7.
Holy cow.
Uncompleted costumes, I think I have 15.
So how do you
Um,
oh my gosh. How do you decide who you want to
my
be?
my wife has 3, by the way.
Oh, and your wife has three. Okay.
Yes,
You've got 5 times that almost. But yeah, how do you decide what you want to be or wear or whatever?
it's whim. It's
Yeah.
just whatever I feel like
Oh.
when I'm registering for that event.
Oh, fun. My gosh. Now, how do you is there sort of a protocol for how you are to behave or act in like your various costumes?
Yes. Well, no.
No,
So
yes.
there's an overall protocol on how you must behave when interacting with the public. You've got to be professional and courteous
Right.
and that kind of thing.
Right.
But as far as a specific um, way to behave when you're in a specific costume, no, there's nothing that's prescribed. But
Okay.
most of our members do tend to try to mirror what their characters would do, how they would act, how they would stand, how they would walk.
Okay. That makes sense. Do you guys talk at all? Can you talk at all or with
Oh yes, yeah.
you can. Okay.
Um, yeah, I one of the costumes that I do a lot is Emperor Palpatine, and I absolutely love doing the Emperor Palpatine voice and interacting with the kids.
Ah, nice. Can you share, Robert, a story or two about your experiences, like personal experiences, in since you've been a part of the 501st.
Wow, that's a
I,
tough question. Takes a lot of memory.
oh,
Um, Let me see. Well, okay. So this might say a little bit about me. So the very first troop that I ever did, we were actually, again, I was still living in Canada. We were actually at a hockey game, and we were on the promenade level at the hockey game. And
okay.
we had this booth, and there were a bunch of people walking by us because it was between the periods.
Yeah.
And there were 7 or 8 of us doing this, and one of the people was dressed as Darth Vader. Now,
Oh,
Darth Vader tends to be in his full costume. He tends to be nearly 7 feet tall and a very
wow.
large and imposing character.
Yeah.
And what I noticed was that most of the people that were walking by were, if they were not stopping, they were slowly walking by our booth, but they were staring directly at Vader. And as they're walking by, their heads are turning to track on Vader.
Oh,
So I was Darth Maul, and
okay.
Darth Maul tends to prowl like a cat.
Yeah.
So what I would do was I would walk out into the crowd and I would stand in the path of somebody who was walking towards me, but their eyes were locked on Darth Vader. And at some point, everybody who's walking will get a feeling that there's somebody in front of them. Maybe it's peripheral vision. I don't know what it is. But at some point, every single one of them, within about a foot and a half of me, would realize that I was standing, or somebody was standing there in front of them.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, their head would whip back and they would see me as Darth Maul. Now, if you know what Darth Maul looks like, he's kind of a scary creature.
Yeah.
I elicited more screams that
Oh,
day from more grown men
oh,
than I could count.
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That would have been very entertaining for all the people in the stands. My
Yes, it was.
gosh. Oh, I can't even believe it. I mean, you're not expecting that, right? I mean, you just minding your own
Yep.
business kind of and keeping your eye on Darth there so that he's not going to hop out and do something to you. Oh my
Yep.
word. That's funny. Do you
Couple of
have
other things
Yeah, go ahead.
that
Yeah.
I've noticed. A couple of other things that I've noticed is the grandmothers. I would say 80% of grandmothers who take a picture with Darth Maul pinch his butt.
What?
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. What? Why? Oh my gosh. Uh,
I don't know.
that is
I'm not a
really
grandmother,
I know,
so
I know. But you're the receiving end. Oh my
yeah.
word.
Well, yeah. Another
Uh
thing that I've noticed, which is I found really fascinating, is um, far more 4, 5, and 6-year-old girls are comfortable with the characters than the same age boys. The
wow.
boys tend to get very shy and very afraid or nervous around the characters, where the girls far more often are perfectly comfortable to walk up and interact with them.
Well, that's really interesting. I wonder what the psychology is behind that. Any ideas?
Yeah, no, I have no idea.
No idea.
Just an observation. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Do you have another story to share with us? I know I'm kind of put you on the spot, but I love to hear about this. My goodness.
Hmm.
And
You're
if
making me dig.
I know, I know.
Well, okay, so there was another time. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to tell you one from my wife. Actually, my wife told me this one.
Okay.
So, my wife and a friend of hers were at a convention in, I believe it was Montreal.
Okay.
And I can't remember. I don't think my wife was dressed at the time. I think she was wearing a 501st shirt,
Okay.
or maybe just a cog shirt, a shirt with a cog on it.
Okay.
And her friend, however, was in full clone armor.
Okay.
I think the character that she was playing was Captain Rex, I believe.
Okay.
So her friend wanted to get an autograph from Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa is a fairly well-known actor who's currently playing Aquaman in the new DC
Okay.
film Aquaman.
Okay.
And they waited in line, and they got up to the front of the line, and my wife is standing there with her friend Angel in full armor with her helmet off.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa looks up, takes one look at the two of them, and says, "501st Girls, yeah."
Oh my gosh.
So
Is
he immediately recognized the 501st
yeah.
and was really, really happy to see that there were actually the 501st Girls were coming to see him.
Oh, that's great. And I think that's really neat that you guys really go get yourselves out there. It's not just visiting children in the hospitals or private parties or corporate parties. It's actually at these big conventions and so can people uh join, or are there places available if people want to become a part of the 501st? Is it a long process? And that's my first question, part A. And the second part is, where would they go to be able to join a local 501st Legion or garrison?
Well, I'm going to answer your second question first.
Okay, go ahead.
If you want to join the 501st Legion, go to www.501st.com
Okay.
and follow the links on the screen. All of the information that you need is there.
Okay.
Now, how you do that is you need to get yourself a movie quality Star Wars costume.
Okay.
Whether you make that yourself, or whether you buy the costume complete, or whether you buy the costume in pieces and put it together, makes no difference.
Okay.
Now, once you get the costume, you will have to put the costume on, and you'll have to take a series of pictures, and all of the information is on the website on how to do this.
Okay.
You send those pictures to us, and we will evaluate your costume to see if it is meeting our standards. And we have a full, what we call a costume reference library, or a CRL, online,
Okay.
that tells you what all of the requirements for each one of these costumes are.
Okay.
But long story short, though, it has to be a perfectly movie accurate costume.
Right.
And how long it's going to take is going to depend on you. There are people who have purchased an entire costume, sent in their pictures, and within a day gotten their approval.
Wow.
And they'll be put in touch with their local garrison, and then they start getting out and meeting and talking to those people, and all is said and done. Now, for most people, it's a lot more difficult than that. Okay. What we tend to recommend that you do is, again, go to the 501st website, 501st.com.
Yeah.
Find out and follow the links to find your local garrison's contact information. With us here in Seattle, it's Garrison Titan. Okay. And I believe it's garrisontitan.com, I'm pretty certain.
Okay.
And what you can do then, once you get in touch with the local garrison, you can talk to them through their local web board or through emails. Find out where they're going to be, and most garrisons will invite you to come out to their events, even if you don't have a costume. Okay. And we tend to call that handling. Okay. So we always have non-costume members who are able to basically work security for the costume members, because it's very difficult to be in crowds in those costumes. So you can, even if you don't have your own costume, if you're not part of the 501st Legion, you can come out to the events with the local garrisons, meet all of the people, see what the event atmosphere is like, see if it's something that you would like to do, and then meet the people who are the people who actually know how to do this, who will actually help you through the process of finding, buying, building, putting together your costume, doing your submission pictures, and actually becoming a member. Here in Seattle, we actually hold what we call a meet and greet once a month.
Oh.
It tends to be the second Saturday of every month.
Okay.
Down in Renton.
Okay.
Where we encourage new members to come out or prospective members to come out and then meet all of the people. We tend to get anywhere between 80 and 120 people out.
Wow.
Every month.
Wow, that's amazing and sounds so much fun. It sounds like you guys have a real nice fellowship going too, you know? A lot of
Yeah, we absolutely do.
Oh gosh. Rob, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight because it's just when I found out about you guys, I just fell in love with the whole concept, like everything about it. And I really am glad you could come on the show and tell us all about it because I'm trying to, in the spirit of Thanksgiving and gratitude, have different people on for November. And I just, want people to know that you're out there. And if they want to hire you, they can hire you guys. Or if they want to become a member themselves, we've got so many Star Wars fans out there. And I think it's just a really fun opportunity to meet new people and make a difference out there,
Absolutely. Just one small clarification.
Sure.
No one ever hires us. They make donations to charities.
Okay.
And we will come out. We tend to try to not handle money, and we absolutely are not for hire.
Right. Okay. Sorry. That my bad. So yeah, they have you come out, and I know and I know actually it was really interesting because they donate directly to the charity themselves, so that there is no money going directly to the 501st. You're just sort of the conduit for that money to go into the different charities. Correct?
Absolutely,
yeah,
yes.
Perfect. Which is the best way to go. That was really smart in setting that up for sure. Anyways, Robert, thank you so much for joining us, and I will be in touch with you soon. All right.
Thank you very much for having me. It was absolutely my pleasure.
Yes. All right. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. I'll talk to you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh, guys. So that is so fun to hear about these different organizations of these folks that just get together and make some really neat things happen, make a difference out there. I wanted to share a little something with you, and some of you guys are probably well aware of this, and I'd seen it around on Facebook and wasn't too sure what it was about, but I'd see various pictures of people wearing their Mickey ears with a hashtag share your ears. So if any of you guys have a pair of ears, I've got 3, and I would like you guys to give me your opinion about which one I should do on Facebook. But from November 4th to November 17th, when you put up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, a picture of yourself in your ears, you can make them whatever way you want. If you have a pair that you bought at Disney, you put yourself in your ears, and Disney will donate $5 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and they will do that up to $2 million. That's 400,000 people. If they shared their ears between that time, $2 million would go to the Make-A-Wish Charity Foundation. And I think that's absolutely wonderful. And the Make-A-Wish, as most of you have heard, are sending these children and their families for a wish. The children are medically vulnerable children, and it just gives them and their families a reprieve from their struggles, the medical struggles that they've had to endure. And anyway, so I have 3 different ears that if you guys are able to comment or whatever, let me know which one I should use. So I got the old standard, which actually has Positively Disney on the back. And it's, I'm going to see if I can fit it on. I can sort of fit it on over my headphones here. So I've got the standard ones is choice number 1. Choice number 2 is this little cute, these were made for me, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit them on here, but there's another little pair of ears with a little bow in there. So that's choice number 2. And then the third pair that I have is this one. And I know I had more around the house, but I could only find this one as the third one. And it's the popcorn one, and it actually is in one of my sons because he's a huge popcorn lover. So I was just curious to know which one should I go for? Number one, number two, or number three? You can write your comments in the bottom there if you want, and let me know what you are recommending for me to wear when I share my ears. At any rate, guys, I want to say thank you again for joining me tonight. It's time to wrap it up, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Stay warm. It's getting a bit cool out there, and be safe. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.